Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Wrestling Report, where I talk nothing but my passion, and that's wrestling. This week was pretty crazy. We'll go on ahead and get right into it. We'll start with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns' contract signing. This was the main event of Raw, and this was a big kind of exploration into their history, into, who's better than whom. There was a little promo confrontation the week before, but we're now making this match official. Roman Reigns is telling Seth Rollins that he is Roman's number one hater, and he always has been. But Seth always reiterates the fact that when it matters, especially last year at WrestleMania, when it matters, Seth Rollins beats Roman Reigns every single time. He said there's three things that are certain, and death, taxes, and beating Roman Reigns is one of them. I just love the fact that these two guys are getting a match at SummerSlam. The history is so deep. They cut such deep promos. This contract signing does nothing but excite me for what they got going forward. Seth Rollins did end up laying Roman Reigns out at the end, as most contract signings go. But the important thing here is that eventually Roman is going to probably get his lick back, and this is going to be a great back and forth build-up. We only got, 2 weeks left, so Roman's probably going to get an edge on Seth on Raw 1 week, and I don't know. We only got 2 or 3 weeks to build this card up, so I'm excited to see where they take it. I mean, it's been great so far. Speaking of, another thing that has surprisingly been good is the Maxine Dupree and Vision stuff. I, for one, have been worried about the Vision for a while because, half their guys have been hurt throughout the year, and, Seth leaving the group kind of took something away from them. But Maxine Dupree is such an interesting role here, and I think WWE knows that. Since Maxine turned heel and aligned with the Vision and started kissing all up on Austin Theory, the biggest question was, how is American Alpha going to feel about this? For weeks and weeks, we haven't known for sure what Maxine was going to do. Maxine's obviously at a point now where she's ready to move on with her career, move up with her career. And she believes that going with the Vision is going to help her career, which in my mind it probably would. In my mind it has so far. Otis and Tozawa come out, and they're obviously heartbroken, and they're trying to talk some sense into Maxine, but it's not enough. The Vision starts attacking them. Otis and Tozawa actually hung in there for quite a little bit. But in the midst of this fighting, Maxine is trying to calm Otis down. Otis is pissed off, and he just wanted to tell Maxine something. He wanted to tell her something very important. And before he got the chance to say it, he was kicked in the balls. He was kicked in his balls, or not kicked, I guess, but he was punched. He was uppercutted. He was hitting the nuts by Austin Theory. And as a result of this, Maxine looks at him in such an evil look, and the Vision destroys him again, and it's only implied that Otis was going to tell Maxine Dupree that he has feelings for her. And, love has a cost, right? Because, listen, they are going to try, I think, and do what they did with him and Mandy Rose back in 2020. I remember that story so well. At that point in time, the Otis and Mandy storyline was the best thing going in WWE at that time. So the people who say that Otis can't carry a storyline, I don't know, man. I believe Otis can cook a storyline together if they give him the time. And I'm thinking, grand scheme of things here, I'm thinking that American Alpha is going to get their big moment. I haven't known for sure whether they were going to ever get their big moment or if they were going to always be a jobber group. But I feel like now that they're involving themselves into this situation, there's going to have to be a title match, tag team title match eventually between American Alpha and the Vision, because I can't believe that the story would be over. So I'm very, very interested to see what will end up happening with that. And Maxine, man, I'm excited to see where she can go with this character. She has what it takes from the last few weeks that I've seen. So I just gotta keep it up. We just gotta keep it up. And I believe at the end of this, Otis and Maxine will end up together. Something tells me that'll just end up being the story. They've already tried to run this story before, so unless it's going to be exactly the way it used to be, then I don't know, you know? So I'm interested to see what'll happen. Then we had ourselves a little gauntlet match for the Intercontinental Championship, or at least a number one contendership opportunity for the Intercontinental Championship. It featured Dominic Mysterio, it featured Javon Evans, it featured Rusev, Dragon Lee, Chad Gable, and God, I can't for the life of me remember the last person. Joe Hendry. Okay, so yeah, it was a gauntlet match. It was really fun. I feel like ultimately it's hard to book this type of match because all 6 of these guys have a valid case for going for the Intercontinental Championship, but who they picked to win this thing absolutely made sense. Out of all 6 guys, this one was probably the one that made the most sense. Chad Gable ended up winning this gauntlet match, and he will face Penta for the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. Let me tell you why this is huge for Gable. You know, if he's trying to be on this redemption arc of, you know, not disrespecting Lucha Libre culture anymore, and he's, you know, a better guy now after that mask versus mask. Penta's been a great champion. Let's not disregard Penta's run as champion. But SummerSlam has to be Chad Gable's moment. Because you don't have another golden opportunity like this for Chad Gable to not only win the championship, but to be over doing so. Chad Gable is beloved by the WWE Universe, and we all know it. They know it. And this, to me, feels like a prime opportunity to give Chad Gable the moment that he's deserved, and that's giving him a singles championship. I believe him and Penta will put on an absolute banger. There's history there. I like the story there. And it just makes sense to me to see Chad Gable walk away Intercontinental Champion by the time SummerSlam concludes. So, yeah, I'm hoping for the best here. If not, you know, I don't know what will happen with Chad Gable, but I feel like WWE is priming him up for this moment. They're priming him up to be the Intercontinental Champion, and I really hope that ends up being the case. Then we finish Raw off with Oba and Brock. Yes, Brock and Oba 3, baby. So, Paul Heyman comes out with Brock Lesnar. They start our show, and they talk about how they're going to apparently file a restraining order on Oba Femi, hence a bunch of police officers that come out. And Oba Femi doesn't believe any of this shit, right? He comes out and he tells Paul Heyman that he's full of it. These are fake cops. You're not really putting a restraining order on me. You're just trying to get into my head. And the good news is nothing gets into my head. So Oba Femi just destroys the police force that Paul Heyman set up, which were found out to not be real police officers, even though they were never going to be real police officers, right? Just a few independent guys from the area. But anyhow, Oba Femi disposes of these police officers and absolutely wreaks havoc. So he tells Brock Lesnar, look, at SummerSlam, this ends between you and me. We're going to be locked in Hell in a Cell, and you cannot escape me. So this feud's getting better and better every week. Out of every match on the card, Brock and Oba 3 is definitely the match I'm looking forward to the most. And I can't imagine that changing anytime soon. So WWE's done anything right this year. They've booked Oba and Brock's trilogy completely perfect. One guy wins 2 each match, and then we got to settle it in a third, especially at Hell in a Cell. We're going to get a treat that night, whether it be the main event or the opener of either night. It's going to be either the main event or opener of either night. And I argue that the opening match is just as important as the main event because you have to get a reason for people to keep watching, right? So Oba and Brock in a cell, I mean, we got to have that close the show, in my opinion. But I imagine it'll probably open one. We'll see. I'm excited, though. Excited for that one. And then we move on to Smackdown. We start off with Cody Rhodes and Gunther. The situation with Gunther has been absolutely crazy. He laid out Nick Aldis last week. So we've had acting SmackDown general manager Adam Pearce. He's been running both shows. The guy, I'm sure, needs plenty of drinks. The guy is having a hard time running both shows, I can imagine. Cody is tired of Gunther. He's been tired of Gunther for the last month. He wants his hands on Gunther, especially after last week where he got hit with the car door in his face. He wants his receipt. And so Adam Pearce makes the match official for the main event of that night. So surely there'd be no shenanigans in that main event, right? Right? Well, we'll get to that. The next thing that happened on SmackDown was a Rhea Ripley injury update. For a month or so, we didn't know for sure what was going on with Rhea Ripley's injury. She was kind of written off TV silently and without reason. But eventually, as more truth has come out, Rhea Ripley probably will not make SummerSlam, so they're creating a tournament for the next 2 weeks. And in that tournament, 6 women will qualify for a ladder match at SummerSlam for the interim WWE Women's Championship. So the idea essentially is that Rhea's not going to make it to SummerSlam, and they want to have a champion, because ultimately Rhea isn't coming back sooner than we thought. So they're going to crown a champion in the meantime until Rhea comes back. And then once Rhea comes back, they'll have a one-on-one match to determine the one true champion. But while Rhea is out, they need a new champion. So over the next 2 weeks, we'll be seeing one-on-one matches between some women, and 6 will qualify for this ladder match at SummerSlam, and it will be a banger, I can imagine. And the first of those matches that took place was Nia Jax and Jade Cargill. This wasn't without interference. This thing kind of got interfered with pretty quickly. And it was interfered by Charlotte Flair. I didn't talk about it last week, but Jade Cargill and her goons took out Alexa Bliss last week with like a chair attack to the arm. What most people might not know about Alexa Bliss is that she can actually move her arm in such a way. She's really flexible, I guess. She's pulled that trick off before in the past. I remember it. Where she can like bend her arm a certain way so that she sold it like they broke her arm in half. But in reality, she's just really flexible. And I think that's like super cool that they finally brought that back. Because that was what made Alexa Bliss so unique, in my opinion, was she was able to do that and sell something really hurting. So, anyway, storyline-wise, Alexa Bliss is taken out. We don't know when she'll come back. But Charlotte is on a revenge tour. She's going after Jade. And so, it ultimately cost Nia her opportunity at the ladder match. Jade won by disqualification. She advances. But I imagine, and here's where I think it's gonna go. So next week, Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair will go 1-on-1 for the second spot in this ladder match. Adam Pearce believes that Nia Jax does indeed deserve another shot. She kind of got screwed out of it. So she'll face Charlotte 1-on-1 next week, and the second spot will be filled. And here's what I think's going to happen. And maybe I should clip this. But I imagine that next week on Smackdown, Nia and Charlotte are going to have their match, and Jade Cargill is going to interfere in this match. She's going to beat the piss out of Charlotte. She's going to hurt Charlotte, maybe. And then what's going to happen is we're going to ultimately get Jade Cargill. Well, at this point, no, I guess not. Never mind. I eventually think we're going to get Jade and Charlotte. That's always been my theory. They've been hyping Jade and Charlotte up since Jade has come back, or Jade has come to the WWE. But it won't happen now that I'm like actually thinking about it. Jade's gonna be in the ladder match at SummerSlam now. That would be the only case if Nia won, but that's not gonna happen at SummerSlam. But I eventually believe that Jade and Charlotte will end up in a match for whatever reason. Maybe this year, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But just mark my words on that one. I believe Jade and Charlotte will happen within the year or next year. I just believe WWE is setting up for that. But that was really about it for SmackDown. I mean, other than the main event, I should talk about the main event of Cody Rhodes and Gunther. It was a solid match, but it was obviously trying to tell a bigger story. Saturday night's main event, I guess, will be tonight, but they're trying to hype that tag team match up between Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Sami Zayn and Gunther. And the real meat of the story is that Adam Pearce said that on Saturday night's main event, the tag team match could shift the championship match between Cody and Punk at SummerSlam completely. If Sami Zayn and Gunther win, then they will be added into the championship match between Cody and Punk at SummerSlam. So it could potentially be a fatal four-way between Cody, Gunther, Sami, and Punk. I don't know if that's what they'll do, but something tells me that could happen. I mean, if you, it's hard to tell. They could go either way with that. They could swerve us once again with the Cody and Punk match and hold us off on it for a while, because I find it hard to believe that they're going to leave Gunther or Sami off the SummerSlam pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like, something tells me. But then again, we have Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis is still in question. That's my big takeaway from SmackDown. We didn't see Nick Aldis at all. I figured Nick Aldis was going to come out and screw Gunther the minute I saw the main event being announced. However, he didn't show up. And so I think Nick Aldis eventually is going to play a role in this. And we'll have to see what that comes into, right? Because chances are he might get a match in. We might see Nick Aldis in a match. I hope so. I really am hoping for it. I really am. But yeah, I believe that's it for both shows. So we'll go on ahead and get into a very short new break. All right. I'm going to start with this story first. I only have 2 stories for you today because it's really been a slow news week. Not much crazy stuff has happened. So I'll go ahead and start with this one. It has been, I guess, confirmed personally by Meechin herself that her and Keith Lee have officially separated. We don't know when they separated. At one point they were engaged to be married. And at one point they were, but now apparently they've split up. So I don't know the extent of it, like the whole Jey Uso situation, and it's not my business to know. I just know that it has circulated, and Meechin herself confirmed it. We haven't really heard from Keith Lee at all in the last few years, and he was dealing with a lot of health issues that were keeping him from being in the ring. He signed with AEW, but we haven't seen him, so obviously I send my best wishes out to both parties. I don't like to report on this stuff because it's, it sucks to see it, but ultimately, I'm sure it's for a reason, and I'm sure that ultimately both parties will end up being okay. It just sucks, you hate to see it, and I don't know the extent of it, and to be fair, it's not my business, so I'll just leave it at that. They are reportedly split up, and best wishes to everybody, so that's all I can do. Now, let me tell you this, now that I don't have best wishes for this. Club WWE, which is WWE's new way to get people involved, I guess, launches a founding member program at $99 a year. Now, let me tell you the extent of this founding membership program. I know the basis of it is that you get a personal note by John Cena. So that was like the first thing I read about it, is you could get a personal note from John Cena. But see, here's what we can get. You can get a bunch of lanyard. You can get a lanyard. You can get a match used in-ring canvas piece. You can get a founder pin. That's all on day one. That's if you pay the $99 up front, and you call it that. The other options, the other benefits, quote unquote, that Club WWE offers are bonus points. You can get rewards, like most other places do. They have like a rewards point system for how much you spend. Whatever, you get this many points. You get a preview. You get preview stuff. You get early access to stuff. You get exclusive interviews. You get content you cannot find anywhere else. You get the first digital experience. What? And a SummerSlam ticket offer, because they can't sell the seats. You get a discounted SummerSlam ticket if you pay $99 a year. If you pay an upfront payment of $99, you can get a fucking discount for SummerSlam. Let me tell you something really important. I've been a fan of professional wrestling for about 15 years. And I know it's about as fake as anything. There is no justifying paying $99 a year for discounted tickets when the ticket should already be at a discount. The tickets nowadays are ridiculous. And the fact that you have to pay extra to even get a little discount on your ticket it's gross to me. This is obviously like a cash grab. It's not meant for the fans. It's not meant, it's not in goodwill. You can't tell me it's in goodwill. $99 a year. I have to take $100 out of my check every year so that WWE can give me a discount on tickets that should already be a little cheaper. They've already tried to get a 25% discount on SummerSlam tickets, and it's just that's not right to me. $99 a year, and that's your only option. There's no monthly, there's no nothing. You have to pay an upfront of $99 a year. And I think that they're trying to get the selling point of, you can get a personal note from John Cena. John Cena is not personally writing all these notes, man. It's copy and pasted, generated with the person's name on it, probably. There's nothing personal about that. John Cena does not have the time to write all those personal notes, man. So, to me, it feels like a cash grab. To me, it feels like, how can we get a little extra money in our pockets? And it's just, it's silly to me. It's silly to me. We can't just lower the prices of the tickets. Normally, we just gotta ask for more money to have then lower ticket. I like that's not cool. Not to me, at least. I'm gonna call them out when they're wrong, and this is definitely one of those things where people do not need a $99 a year membership. WWE has never, ever, ever asked its fans for $99 a year. Ever. Never in Vince's time would he have ever asked people to pay $99 a year for anything WWE related. Remember the WWE Network for $9.99? What happened with that? Why can't we have that anymore? You got to pay fucking $30 a month for the ESPN subscription to watch the pay-per-views that you want to. I don't know. To me, it's like, how much more money can you get out of people? Like, money is not everything when it comes to running a successful business. I'm telling you, it's not. All right. I'm going to leave my rant at that. I'd like to thank you guys very much for tuning in, listening in, and I will see you all next week, baby. Woo!